Welcome to the North Syracuse District Goal Indicator Introduction video series.
The intent of this series is to establish a common introductory understanding of our high leverage indicators, as well as the rubric language that is connected to each. These videos are not intended to be a one-size-fits-all or an answer key, nor are they intended to be an evaluation of one's entire practice.
Our hope is that they will support you in understanding what evidence might look like for each of these indicators and why it might fall under one category or another on the rubric. We hope this video on synthesis, critical thinking, and problem solving facilitates your understanding and construction of new knowledge.
Each video frames the content in three ways. The mindset of considering here's what, so what, and now what supports us in articulating more clearly what each indicator is and then applying this understanding directly to our practice.
Please feel free to pause the video at any time to meet your own learning needs. We hope this information helps us in moving forward as we build a culture of learning for both students and adults. While it would be impossible to take a comprehensive look at what research states about critical thinking, some of the leading figures in this area offer the following thoughts. Feel free to pause the video at this point if you're interested in reading in more detail. What we do notice are some common elements in these and other research examples.
So let's consider how these bodies of research are the same and identify the major components they have in common. Whether considering the work of Lippmann, Ennis, or Paul, some underlying agreements across all of their work are the following points.
Critical thinking results in making an informed decision or judgment.
Critical thinking is reflective and metacognitive, seeking to assess its own conclusions.
Critical thinking infers a standard, criteria or reasonableness to which the decision or judgment is being held. Having established some common tenets of critical thinking, let's begin to look at practice. Using these commonalities as a baseline for why critical thinking is important, let's take a look at a brief video clip with these simple directions.
Watch the upcoming 3-minute video.
Look for evidence of critical thinking during this segment of a larger lesson and write down a few notes about what it looks like or what you see or hear.
Try to avoid bias, inference, or personal opinion in your notes and observations.
And feel free to pause the video at any time.
Let's find out just how much we really do know about procedural writing. We're going to do an activity called 4 corners, and it involves moving our bodies to a corner of the room that has a sign posted. And the sign is going to be agree, strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree. So we're going to move our bodies to the corner that we think reflects how we're feeling about a certain idea or a certain statement that I'm going to share with you. So the first one is all about procedural writing. Once you hear the statement, I need you to take a moment to think about it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you strongly agree, or do you strongly disagree? And move your body to that corner. I want you to talk to whoever's at your corner and explain to them why you're there. Why do you agree with the statement, or why do you disagree with the statement? So here we go. The first statement is, procedural writing is when I make a list. Go. When you get to your corner, explain why you're there.
I agree because a list is kind of like procedural writing. Procedural writing tells how to make something or do something, and a list tells you what you need.
Here's your next statement. Procedural writing helps me to do something successfully. Go. Procedural writing helps me to do something successfully. Have a chat when you get there.
Procedure doesn't make sense. Yeah, but I strongly agree because it helps you to do something with the expressive verbs that tell you specifically what to do, and it has the steps that make it go in order, so you know what to do with the effective verbs and make it makes it really, really easy because it tells you exactly what to do.
Ryan, you're in the agree corner, so you don't strongly agree that procedural writing helps you to do something successfully. Please explain.
Well, see, it depends because if you have a procedure, it might not always make sense because what if there's an ingredient and you never heard of it before?
So that would affect how successful you are with the procedure.
I agree because sometimes if you don't have verbs in it, it won't make sense.
At this point, take a moment to look over your notes from the video clip as we begin to compare the evidence collected to our rubric language. Critical thinking is one of two indicators located in Standard 3, Element 5. Note some of the key words in the element description taken from our rubric.
And now let's look at the rubric itself. As we move from ineffective to highly effective, let's mark some of the words and articulate what evidence of critical thinking might look like at each area of practice.
At the ineffective level, you may notice words like few or does not use.
At the developing level, you'll notice occasional or limited effectiveness.
And as we move into the effective area, the words change to regular, written and oral, in alignment with 21st century skills.
At the highly effective category, we have regular and oral format for students to synthesize, and alignment with the 21st century skills, and students are initiating.
As you look back at the notes or observations you made, some of them may look similar to these. When we take these pieces of observable evidence and place them alongside the key words we just noted in the indicator, how might you answer the following questions?
What evidence might reflect critical thinking at the developing level? What evidence might reflect critical thinking at the effective level? What evidence might support or refute this being highly effective? And for this segment of the video, what level does the preponderance of evidence show? As a takeaway from looking at the research, the rubric, and a small segment of instruction, please answer these two questions as a way to apply any new learning to your current practice as we close with considering, now what?
Take a moment to think about how this teacher might have facilitated synthesis, critical thinking, and problem solving at the effective or highly effective level. And take a moment to pause the video and jot down an example of a specific lesson in your own instruction where you could facilitate synthesis, critical thinking, and problem solving at the effective or highly effective level.
As we close this video, in an effort to model the model, we would like to offer the KWLQ strategy for recapping our thinking. First, this video was intended to briefly summarize what we know about this indicator. Although not comprehensive, certain commonalities across the research were identified.
Second, we wanted to know how this might look during a segment of someone's teaching and how the different levels of effectiveness are articulated within the rubric.
Third, we hope you learned about where evidence from instruction might fit on the rubric and where you might apply this in your own practice.
Finally, and most importantly, we know the next question might be to ask, how do I do this more effectively in my classroom? Or where can I go for support? Please feel free to visit both the Professional Development and Consultant Teacher web pages for more resources, ideas, videos, and supports.
We hope this was helpful in establishing a common understanding around this indicator that you will build on in the future. Thank you.